A little bit of good news for a change, I hope. The river is back in its banks. The sun is out. It is time to go survey the flood damage and see what kind of mess we got on our hands. All right, guys, first things first on the list. I have not been over to camp to see it, but I hear we got a pretty good sized tree on the dock and some other driftwood over there we need to address. It's still too muddy to get in the driveway, and I really need to get this thing hauled out of here. Brand new machine, still hasn't even seen a job with the flood and everything else going on. So we're gonna track this over to camp and track this over to camp, see what we got. Hopefully we can get that drift off the dock, get that stuff addressed. And then I think we're gonna have to go down and see what kind of mess we got with these turkey poop piles. And we're gonna head to Derby and see what it looks like down there. Over the hill we go. Let's see what kind of mess we're gonna get ourselves into. It's absolutely incredible, guys. We're down here at the bottom of the hill. I don't know if this gives you a visual or not, but that is the road. If you guys remember the video, we drug Bubba Dump up and through because we couldn't get through here because the water was too deep. If you look real close, you can kind of see where the water was. You can see where stuff's kind of floated up here. This all don't look too bad down here. We got a few things that have kind of floated around. What makes this wild is whenever this river water gets this high, the current right here is as swift as what the current is out in the river. The water is actually flowing down through here trying to get out, and you can see signs of that. If you guys look right here where this tree's at, you can see all this debris and stuff just got smashed up into it. But yeah, all this was under 6-8 feet of water. If you look way over in those trees, you can see the mud line on all the trees. So good news is there's nothing right here that can get damaged. So the question is, which way do you guys want to go? We need to walk over to that manure pile. And basically what you need to do is just kind of spread it out so it'll dry out so they can spread it later. I think we're going to get the stinky job out of the way first. So that way, if we track back across the field, we'll get the stinkness off the new machine. Nothing like playing in poop with a brand new machine. Sounds like a great idea, don't it? All right, let's go see what kind of mess we got over there. And we'll head over to camp. Head over to camp and see if everything survived over there. I'll just give you guys a little bit of perspective, a little better notch. There's corn stalks close to 8 feet in those trees right there. And the sun kind of kills you, but you can see a water line right there. So that gives you an idea of how much water was down through there. Right there's where we just come down the hill, just kind of giving you some references of how much water was actually here. Keep in mind the river is actually a half mile that way. I know a lot of you guys asked before, and you're going to ask again, how often does this happen? The last time the water got this high was 1997, so 28 years ago. The time before that was 1964. So that was over 40 something years ago. I don't know, it's too late in the day to do math. I think I'm not sure what they classify this is, but about once every 50 years it'll get this high. I don't know how to explain this. So it'll get close to this high, but whenever it gets this high, it spreads out so much, so it takes a lot more water to keep it going. So this time here was 51 feet. It'll get to 49. It'll get 48 to 49 feet every 6 to 7 years. But actually going over 50 and climbing into the 50s, that gets pretty rare. That happens about once every 30 to 50 years, let's call it. So it don't happen very often, but it does happen, and it's part of living on the river. We're fully prepared for it. It is what it is. This is what we deal with. It's part part of the river life. So man, look at all that stuff. That's a good place for all that stuff stuck over there. We can leave that there and not have to deal with it. There's gonna be a place somewhere. This is gonna be out in the field and we're gonna have to clean it up. And the problem is, it does not dry underneath that. So you go to push it off with a dozer, it's still got all that river mud underneath it. It's all slimy and nasty and you can't do nothing with it. And sometimes you just gotta load it in a truck and haul it off because you can't push it. You get limited on what you can do, or you push a little bit, let that dry, and you go again. It turns into a nasty mess. Nasty mess, I tell you. All right, here is the pile of poop we say. All right, so here is the pile of poop we tried to save and didn't have any luck, but honestly it don't look that bad. So even when we were down here, the water was right up to us. That's how much higher the water got. You guys see the water line right there? So this honestly does not look that bad at all. Spread this out a little bit. I think this is gonna dry out. It'll be just fine. The center of the pile didn't even get saturated, which is great. In case you guys are wondering, yeah, that stinks. Horribly. This is an overall win for sure. Enough of that stinky mess. All right, the other pile over there, the water did get up to, but it only got about a foot deep. It's actually on a pretty good little knoll up there, so we're gonna leave that one go. But while I'm down here, I do want to go down here and double check some ditches. Got a few ditches down here in the past where corn stalks flowed into and make a mess out of everything. So let's go get those cleaned out. Head back the other way. Oh man. Walking over to camp and spotted something that's going to be an issue. This looks like a real pain in the butt. So this is the property line. That's that 8-inch tile we put in a couple years ago, dug down through there. Camp's over there, give you guys a reference. Our property line's like 3 trees over. And as this current comes down through here, this is exactly what I was talking about. There is corn stalks and debris, probably close to 1.5 feet, 2 foot deep, from here all the way to the river, which is about 1,000 feet. And this is going to be a mess to clean up. Yeah. There's no good way to deal with it. Like I said, it's kind of what I was showing you guys back here a little bit ago. It's hard to get a dozer. This is a river mud, man. It is just slimy. It is slick. It is nasty. This river put probably 1.5 inches, 2 inches of mud over all this. Everything out here in the sun will dry out. It'll be just fine. But everything underneath that will not dry out until this stuff is out of here. So we gotta figure out something we're gonna do with this. The farther down it goes, the wider it gets. That's not good. Not good. That's gonna be a lot of work for somebody. That might not get planted this year. I don't know. We got a lot of stuff to do. We'll sleep on that one. It's not gonna fit the time slot this evening, I'll tell you that much. All right, let's go over to camp and hopefully got better news over there. Oh, remember how I told you that river mud was slick? Yeah, we just about took off sliding down the hill here. Come on, boy, baby. Come on. Oh, we're dirt tracking it. Woo! Oh boy. Don't want to go. Oh boy. There's a ditch back here. Come on. Alright, this is what I was trying to do before I about. That was almost bad. I'm telling you, that stuff is slick. It is slick as snot. Alright. What I was wanting to do, I don't know if you can see this ditch culvert down here, but it's got a whole bunch of stuff clogged up in it, and Lord knows the state's not going to come through and do anything. If you want anything done, you got to do it yourself. We're trucking around with nothing better to do. I got to take off sliding down this hill. I hope not. Come on, hang on there. See if we can reach it. Oh, so close. There's a ditch culvert down there somewhere, you see it? I would say the state will thank me later, but that's never going to happen. There we go. All right, let's get out of here before we go sliding over the hill again. Yummy! It's the road going in and out of camp. It's got, it's probably got 6 inches of mud on it right now. Last time it did this, we let it dry, and then actually come in here with the dozer and pushed it all up in piles and hauled it out or spread it out in the field or something, but it's still too wet to do anything with right now, so we're gonna have to hold off on that. One thing that is nice about all the, one thing that's nice about the water being this high, looks like we got an issue over there, we're holding water back. I don't think I can get to that one though. Is there's not a whole lot of drift in the field. It pretty much carries it all off. And then, well, let me rephrase that. There's a bunch of drift in the field that's all in one place. Way over there next to the trees, I guess. A lot of times we get a normal flood that comes up and goes down and don't cover all this. All on the water's edge will be dripping we got to pick up. It can be a real pain in the butt sometimes, but the water comes up this high, it all flushes out. All right, guys, we have holy shit. Wowzers. All right, we have made it over to camp. It is not great news. All right, let's talk about the good news first, then we'll deal with that. So the cabin survived. The water level, I know there was a lot of discussion. There was a lot of discussion on whether we should put that second block in or not. You can't really, it's kind of hard to see, but the water got to about right here on this second block. So if you take this and this into consideration, this cabin had about, could have taken about 1.5 feet, maybe close to 2 feet more water. But one thing we didn't realize that we got to take into consideration in the future as this one here actually sits about a foot lower. I'll throw a picture up here if I can, but the water actually got to right here. So that's a 12-inch I-beam. We probably could have took a foot of water. Let's just say that one could have took 2 foot of water. This one could have took a foot of water. But they're still high and dry. We just need to get them set back down on the ground. So we just need to get them set back down on the ground so we don't get a big storm that blows them off. But this is our issue over here. We got a damn mess over here. So through the saturation and the current of the river, you can see that this whole hill has kind of sloughed off a little bit. Just complete saturation and current. It was underwater for so long, which was a little bit unusual, was our issue. It's undermined the foundation of our thing here, but here is our bigger issue. That is one massive tree that is not helping us out at all. It's putting a lot of weight down here on this thing that don't need to be there. It's got our handrail destroyed. I don't know if that 210 will even get in here to grab that, to be honest with you. Oh boy. So 1997, this was the flood level. 2018, this was the flood level. 2025 was right there in between. I don't know what to do with this thing, guys. I'd really like to get that off there so it don't do any more damage than what it's already done. But it is in a very precarious situation. We may have to sacrifice the Horseshoe Pit and walk up here and see if we can. I guess we're going to find out what the 235's got, because we really need to get that thing off there. That is not good. I don't know if you can tell, but it's got that hole outside pushed down a little bit. There's a great big concrete counterweight poured back here, and yeah. Let's give it a try. I don't know of any good safe way to get out there with a chainsaw to do any good with it either. Here's the next problem I got. I tried to walk over there, and as you guys can tell, this is slick as snot right here. That didn't go very well, but I really need to get up there. I don't really have a choice but to give this a try. So, oh boy, fun. All right, we made it around the corner without sliding over the hill for a second time, so that's convenient. I don't think I'm gonna be able to work around this Horseshoe Pit. I think we're gonna have to take it out so I can get up there close enough. Hoping I can save these pads. I think they got quite a bit of rebar in them. Nice part about a 235, I ain't gotta worry about the tail swing knocking the cabin over or the shelter house over. All right, there's one. Easy does it. There's two. Now, I don't know if I can save this. By golly, I come closer than I thought I was going to. Not a complete fail. I got a hold of it. I am fairly confident we are not going to be able to lift it, but we have no choice but to try. What I don't want to do is get myself in trouble where this tree comes off there and we all go sliding down over the hill together, because that would not be good either. So yeah, bummer. All right, I don't know where to set you guys where you can watch. Maybe right here, hopefully. Man, I am so stinking close to having it. Part of me wishes I had a chainsaw so I could go down there and cut these limbs off, not have to mess with it. The other part of me is glad I don't have a chainsaw, because that looks dangerous as all get out. Everything about this is dangerous. I'm gonna try to clean out this one right here is my issue. If I can get this out of here, gosh dang, I can't. I gotta be really careful how I go about doing that. This one here is digging into the mud back here and I can't swing it. I just need to be able to swing it a little bit. Eventually all get thrown in a pile and we'll burn it all. What a mess. All right. Hopefully that will allow it to slide. I got it to move about, I don't know, 5 feet. I need another 5 feet maybe. Problem is, if this goes bad, oh, easy, 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 easy. Problem is, if this goes bad, it's gonna go really bad, really fast. So I'm gonna lift this up where I know I got it. I'll bring it in closer to me so I know I got some balance left on the machine. I'm gonna clamp it with the thumb now so we don't lose it. I don't want to swing too much because it's gonna get me off my center of gravity, but I'm going to try to back up. Oh, it's going. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Just go. I need like 2 more feet. Oh, we're going. Come on, baby. Oh, the back up any farther? Gosh, dang, we are so close. Oh, there she goes. There she goes. Look at that, would you? how that come across on video, but honestly that's probably one of the sketchiest things I've been doing since I've been doing YouTube, and I'm not gonna lie about it. That was touch and go. Well, if anybody wanted to know what the balance of a 235 is, there you go. That's pretty impressive if you ask me. We got a little bit of collateral damage down there. We can get the rest of that with the chainsaw. Honestly, we just got one section of railing there, a little damage. The rest of it don't look too bad, but the main thing is we got the weight off that thing. Whew. All right, get this thing set down and move on to something else. All right, guys, as bad as what that was, it could have been a whole lot worse. Let me explain to you why. So we have no control what comes down the mighty Ohio. It just, whatever comes. Sometimes you get lucky and everything misses you. Sometimes you get lucky, or sometimes you get unlucky and a big old tree ends up here. And if you're really unlucky, a barge gets loose and wipes out everything. That has happened before. Not here, but up at Derby it has. So what I was trying to say, sorry, I know it didn't look like it on camera because I wasn't really focusing on the camera, but I'm not gonna lie, that is the sketchiest thing I've done since I've been filming, for sure. Maybe it shows up, maybe it don't, I don't know. But if that water would have got maybe a foot higher, that tree would have come over top of these rocks, and that railing that stopped it ended up against this shelter house. I don't think this shelter house is as strong as that down there. I'm going absolute worst case scenario here, which is a true reality. If that tree hits this shelter house, wipes out the shelter house takes out first cabin takes out second cabin. That is the massive fear about leaving these cabins over here during these floods and just raising them up, is something coming down the river and wiping them out. The other option we got is to haul these things out of here, but time becomes an issue, and then what do you do with them? This one here is way over height, and the only place we can go to it with it is up at the barn. It's a long story. That one over there you can get down the highway with, so it ain't horrible. We can haul that out to Derby and get it out of here. This one here won't clear a bunch of power lines and stuff, so it pretty much just has to stay put. But if all we got damage is some railing, I think all in all, we're gonna have to call that a win. We're gonna have to get over here at some point, do some foundation work, get this bank kind of sheared back up a little bit. There's actually a bunch of big old quarry rocks down there that are kind of a retaining wall that's kind of goes down and pushes against it. So I think it's gonna stay here. Yeah. This is definitely, of all the floods we've had, this was built in 1998. It was built right after the 97 flood. So this is the third time it's went underwater, and this is by far the most destructive one so far, but that's part of it. But how about that 235? I know you guys are gonna ask, would the 210 do that? Hydraulic power wise, they felt very, very similar. And actually balance wise, it felt very, very similar. But this is why I like the 235, because if I brought the 210 in here, I couldn't have swung to get that thing worked over there a little bit. So it was definitely nice right here off the bat to have that compact radius machine to make that maneuver. I do think this thing has a little bit more lift power, and I do think it has a little bit more breakout force. The balance is closer than I thought. I'll have to run it some more in some more familiar scenarios to give you a true read on the balance. What's going to be the true telltale sign of the balance is when we put that big bucket on there and start loading Bubba Dump, because I know exactly what the 210 did, and we'll be able to see how this one compares. So, all right, I think we've done all we can do over here for now. Got to let it dry out so we can get the loader and some other equipment in here and get those cabins set back down. I knew that tree was on there, and I knew it was putting a lot of weight on that foundation. So I wanted to get over here and get it off. And yeah, make sure we're good. All right, enough's enough. We're out of here. Well, Gunner, we've made it to Derby. This looks a lot better, don't it?
Where'd the tree go?
So, you guys seen some of my shorts. If I still got that video on my phone, I'll try to throw it up. We had a whole bunch of trash and debris and all kinds of stuff that got piled up right here. The local volunteers come down and clean that all up. It tweaked our playground a little bit, but it's not bad. But look, all of our mulch is gone.
I'm not buying it.
Every last little bit of it is gone. Ain't that crazy?
No, that's a lie, actually.
A little bit right there. So the other thing that took a hit, if you guys see my short video, is our Derby riverboat. So now the river's not back down to pool yet. It's still got dropping under 5 or 6 feet. But you guys see how far the river is down there now, and you see how high it was up there before. And that boat is not small. That's pretty crazy that the water was all the way over top of that thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it broke the lettering.
Yeah, mangled up. I think what happened was there was a big tree that fell right here. I think the water got high enough it floated and come out here and went right over top of our
But that could have been the tree that was there.
yeah, well, that could have been, or could have just been a tree that come down the river too. So yeah. I don't know. Look at the basketball court. It's got like
Literally.
1.5 feet, 2 feet of mud on it. I don't know what it is about this park, but man, it just catches mud like nobody's business. So look like our railing going up to the community center held up well, so that's good.
Yeah.
Well, this definitely looks better than the camp does.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Looks like he's coming to straight on the middle.
Yeah. That is some lovely stuff, I tell you. Nobody's never experienced river mud and how slick it is. I'm telling you, you're missing out. You can take that home with you.
Oh, this is soft right here, too.
Look at all the mud. Mud, mud, mud.
You're lucky you have to.
All right, let's let Steve do his thing. Let's go do our thing. So I'll throw some random pictures up I got, but they actually sandbagged the tavern, and they were successful. They were able to keep 90% of the water out of the tavern, which was a huge relief. The water got right to the bottom of the sign, and the alligator did not float. So that's good. I'll show you guys over here. This is our local flood marker pole. So the bottom one's 2011, that one's 2018, that was 1997, that's 1964, 1937 is way up there, that's the big one. This flood got right to the number 1 on the A1. It was, I'll have to put a new flood marker right there.
So
That's where it goes.
Right under the one?
Right under the 1. It was right between 97 and 2018.
So in the middle of the one?
Yep. We'll have to get Officer Hoover to make us a new one, and we'll put her on the pole. Yep, well, it was underwater for almost a week. This is the trailer we pulled out. This garage here. Garage got about 4.5, 5 feet of water into it. It was up into it pretty good. The stove right there, as you guys can tell, was completely underwater. It's crazy, ain't it? They've been squeegeeing the mud. That's the worst part about this, is all the mud. The trailer definitely would have got water underneath it. This is the deck that sits on the front of the trailer, and if you guys can imagine, the water got all the way up to the seats on that chair over there. So actually you can kind of see where some of the stuff stuck in the fence here. The water was up this high on all this. So it's a good thing we pulled the trailer out. So all right. All right, I did not video any of this, but this is the Derby boat storage facility. We spent a whole day. Actually, Steve, the owner, which is the one down there cleaning off the mud, he did the majority of it. He's the one that owned it, or owns it. Basically had to move all these boats out of here. These all had about 2 feet of water in there. And the worst part is it dumps a whole bunch of mud in here. Steve did have some damage. I'll show you guys over here. There's a tremendous amount of current that comes through here, and debris in the river starts getting stuck in this fence. You guys can see all the debris in the fence. You can see how high it was. And what happens over here on the other side, it eventually gets so much stuff stuck in the fence, it gets enough resistance that it takes the fence out. As you guys can tell, this section of the fence is no more. It is gone, wiped out. So, all right, we're gonna go grab the loader. We're gonna move the gazebo, the shed, and the poles back. You ready? All right, we're gonna take the easy one first and move the gazebo. We ready?
Yeah.
Barely made it, but we made it. All right.
You just can't break it on the rail.
Yeah, well, that would be bad.
Go out that way.
You gonna make it? They go the other side. All the way around. All the way around. All right. I'm gonna lift this up high enough inside that block underneath there, right there.
Is the other one already in?
No, we gotta do it too. All right, Gazebo is back. We did not get stuck in the yard. Still a little soft there if you can't tell. I know what you guys are screaming. I need to have some chains or some way to keep the fork extensions on the loader. And you guys ain't wrong. But I also show you why it's handy the way they are, because we get over here to do this other job. The reality of it is, we should have built these fork extensions a foot longer. They're a foot too short. Everything I go to do with them, they're a foot too short. But if I'm gonna build them a foot longer, we had to build them out of some heavier material. So they're better than nothing, and they've come in super handy in this flood. We've moved a lot of stuff, but we may have to build fork extensions 2.0. All right, guys, we did not video moving this at all. This is the Derby Community Association storage building, and we keep our tents and our lawnmowers and all of our good stuff in. We moved this in the absolute torrential rain, didn't we? Mm-hmm. It was bad. And we used to keep it up here at the community center, but it kind of got in the way, so we ended up keeping it over. Steve's nice enough to let us keep it over at the boat storage building, which is not an issue until it floods. So we need to move it back over there. These are all Steve's telephone poles. I moved for them so they didn't float away. Before we can move that, we need to move this.
You think I'm heavy enough to lift it?
No, I don't. Not even close. Look at that, I was right.
I can move it.
All right, let's get it moved.
don't.
This is why I wish my fork extensions were just a little bit longer. I got to slide them out on the forks to be able to reach all the runners on every one of these buildings I picked up. There's another building I moved for the tavern over there the other day. They're about a foot longer. It'd be perfect. They still work, but definitely got some room for improvement. So, all right.
Close was it to right here?
You can see the water line right there. Well, Gunner, the Amati, Ohio is slowly going back into its banks. So I've seen a lot of you guys commenting about, not for sure you guys understand how the river works. See a lot of you guys commenting, blaming the Corps of Engineers and the dams and everything else for the flooding. Honestly, guys, it has absolutely nothing to do with it. Once the water gets to 34 feet, they open the dams up, everything runs over, where the Ohio comes into the Mississippi all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico, or Gulf of America, whatever you want to call it. There is no dams. The only reason the dams are on the Ohio is for navigational purposes, for the barges to control the water when it is low. Once it gets above 34 feet here, 34 feet's the measurement for the Counting Dam, it is wide open. There is no restrictions, there is no nothing. It is going as fast as it can go. What really gets us is whenever they get a bunch of rain downriver that fills up the river, and they get a bunch of rain upriver, and all that water is coming down here and has nowhere to go, that's when the water starts coming up. It's just the beauty of living on the river. Keep in mind, the largest flood recorded was in 1937, which is almost 30 years before the modern lock and dam system and 20 years before any type of lock and dam system. And all those systems were put in just for the safe travel of riverboats and steamboats back in the day. Quick little history lesson. So this is not a lake. It is nowhere close to the lake. You can still see the current out there. It does not behave like a lake. This is one massive ditch, isn't it? And the current in this one massive ditch is insane. They don't call it the Mighty Ohio for no reason whatsoever. It lives up to its hype every once in a while, but for the most part, guys, we fared pretty well. We do got some substantial damage over at camp we're gonna have to deal with at some point. We got some minor damage here at the park, and that'll be taken care of pretty quick. Steve's already got the basketball court cleaned off. Volunteers have already got the playground done. We'll get some mulch hauled back in, but I think we've done all we can do, Gunner, until it dries out and we get a little more time.
You always have time, you just don't want to do it.
No, it's the other way around. I want to do it, I just don't always have time.
No.
Need to get you trained up so you can do more, but we'll get her one way or another, get her all put back together and wait for the next one, I guess. So anyways, that's a wrap on the post-flood edition. We are out of here. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. If your travels take you through southern Indiana or just looking for a unique destination, everybody is always welcome here at the world-famous Derby Market and the home headquarters of the Dirt Perfect operation. No guarantees you'll catch Aaron or myself, but feel free to take all the pictures you like. Just for obvious reasons, please don't climb on or in any of the equipment. And most importantly, please tag us on all the social platforms, including the Derby Market. Before you head out, take a quick trip inside, look around, and locate the Dirt Perfect Visitors Map. Be sure you pin the location you traveled from and enter the Dirt Perfect Visitors drawing for a chance to win some Dirt Perfect merch. As always, guys, thank you for watching and supporting this channel. It means the world, and we shall catch you on the next one.